When you look at Africa's socio-economic indicators as represented by data, whether it is the number of out-of-school children, where our continent holds the largest contingent of children who should be in school but are not in school. In our particular country, it is now more than 20 million of children. At the time that I was Minister of Education, the numbers were less than 7 million. And I was sad. And I said, no, we must start immediately to get them out of the streets. Joyce already began to say, was designed to correct the supply issues pointed out by my research that focused on the nexus between the quality of economic performance of African countries using Nigeria as the profile country, because Nigeria is a perfect image of most of the countries on the continent. And that research pointing to the fact that there is a triangular or a triangulated nexus between the demand, the supply, and the regulation of political activities if we looked at politics as a service or a product. And that triangulated relationship, that the supply side of the market of politics, as it were, on our continent, currently is monopolized by a pipeline of politician supply that is monopolistic, that is very entrenched in the subversion, the subordination of common good to personal, private, and narrow interests. Therefore, any expectation, according to the findings of the research, that there would be any dramatic change in the market of politics on our continent without a transformation of the pipeline that supplies politicians as suppliers of politics to the continent is delusion. So, the findings essentially said, you must produce a new pipeline of suppliers of politics of the kind that will produce the right kinds of outcomes of governance for the countries of your continent. And the same research said, the demand side of the market of the product, the service of politics on your continent is ineffectual, is without influence. It cannot determine good outcomes for itself, because as the electorate represents that demand side, they actually do not have the potency to determine the quality and the cost of the political service that is given to them. And the same research pointed to the fact that this market of politics, which should be regulated by the systems and the institutions and the processes of politics, is failed by the same institutions that ought to correct anomalies in that political space where the demand side and the supply side interact. Now, when research tells you that if you don't correct what is wrong with the three critical pillars that will determine the quality of the product or service that determines your life, what must you do? You must act on the research findings. And it was the effort to act on the research findings that brought into existence our design of the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance. And by the year 2021, we graduated the pioneer class. By the year 2022, we graduated another class. And this is the year 2023, and we're graduating our third class of people who have been trained in the knowledge, the competencies, the skills of statecraft, and given the attitudes, and you know that you can be taught values, but if internally you have decided to be a person of ignoble behavior, what we have said is that it will manifest. And that when it manifests, we will recover a certificate from you. Because we don't want to add to a corrupted pipeline that exists. What our own pipeline of leadership is meant to do is to produce leaders that have character, competence, and capacity. Interconnected, inseparable. It is not sufficient for us that you have competence and capacity. It is not sufficient for us that you have character and competence. It is not sufficient for us that you have character and capacity, and then you lack. We want three things out of the leaders that we produce. And so if we have been with you in the last 10 years, I have been asked in this session to give you a charge. If you have been with us, if you have not stolen away from class when you should be in class, then you definitely are leaving our school with character, competence, and capacity. And if we can confidently say that of you, then I would ask the audience at your graduation to please stand and give a clap. I'm not asking you to do an ovation because ovations come naturally. Nobody should force you. I'm simply saying this one is not you give them an ovation. No, I'm saying stand and please acknowledge our class of 2023. Can you clap with some energy? You will do one more thing for me as you stop clapping. Do one more thing for me. You're going to look at them and you're going to say to them, we're watching you. One more job before you sit. We're watching you on behalf of your school. When you do well, we will join to celebrate you. The last one is the one I want you to say very well for us. Well, if you do anything outside of the values of the school, we will collect the certificate on behalf of the school. Why are you turning your face? Are you already programming yourself to do something ugly? Please be seated. You see, that's why we say we are an unconventional school. We are a school that trains across the spectrum of the issues that matter in the development of each of the countries where we are currently and where we will be. From the 10th of October, we will be in Senegal as a School of Politics, Policy and Governance Senegal, SPPG Senegal. And congratulations to our brothers and sisters. Can you please stand so we will acknowledge you? Where is the Dean of the SPPG Senegal? He's all right. And where is Professor Marie Claire? Excellent. The SPPG Senegal takes off on the 10th. They start their lectures on the 10th of October. Oh, here's the Dean. He comes in. The Dean of SPPG Senegal, Professor Fall. And by the time we are in the session for the graduation of class of 2024, we will be announcing even more countries are having their SPPGs, because there are countries of Cameroon, of Ghana, of Kenya, of Zimbabwe, of Namibia, of Angola, of Mali, and I forget one more country that are going to start off with the SPPGs. Why is this a passion for us? It is a passion for us because, ladies and gentlemen, in all studies about Africa's failure, what ultimately concludes the matter is that Africa's bane is poor public leadership. We have said it so often. We actually decided that it is our destiny. Well, the SPPG is our answer, our response to that problem. We are saying that it is not our destiny to be governed by the worst amongst us. And if you reject a situation, then you must act to correct that situation. I think that that's the principal thing we have taught you at the SPPG. That you go forth, not just as the ambassadors of the school, because after all, many of you were gained your admission. In fact, every one of you gained your admission into the SPPG, not because we were looking for people, but because we were looking for people who were going in the direction that needed the support to get them to being the kinds of leaders that our dear gift, the parliamentarian from Zimbabwe, represents. Africa's change is certain. It is inevitable. But Africa's change will not happen without intentionality in correcting the anomalies. If we succeed in correcting the leadership anomaly that we have on our continent, one thing is certain: Africa will claim the 21st century. The charge that we give you today as the graduates, the third cohort of graduates of SPPG, is that when that history of those that turned the corner for Africa by providing the quality public leadership that was necessary for its business sector, for its citizen sector, for every aspect of its human endeavor to succeed, is written, that your name be mentioned. I thought you would be excited. Or you don't want to be. You want to give us the same kind of leadership that you currently see across the continent? Let me tell you the truth. I don't have time for people who like to pretend that they don't have a problem. Those who pretend they don't have a problem die with the problem. Our continent does have a leadership crisis. Those who want to say, oh, we're doing okay, don't talk too much. You're doing okay? Yeah, we understand why you think you're doing okay. You and your family are okay. It's very difficult to come outside of your cocoon. We all tend to like our cocoon and to define life according to our experience. But it is not good enough. In the school you've been through, we have told you that once you look at the data, you know what the problem is telling you. And that if you followed the problem that the data is showing you, it means that you're being evidence-based. Is that not so? When you look at Africa's socio-economic indicators as represented by data, whether it is the number of out-of-school children, where our continent holds the largest contingent of children who should be in school but are not in school. In our particular country, it is now more than 20 million of children. At the time that I was Minister of Education, the numbers were less than 7 million. And I was sad. And I said, no, we must start immediately to get them out of the streets. And the effort we put in within one term that intersected with a new session of children in school, we succeeded in having 500,000 of them leave the street into the classroom. Imagine what would have happened if we continued with that spirit of effort. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now our graduates. As soon as you walk up here and collect that certificate. But listen, you did not come to the school for a certificate. Did you come for the certificate? You came to our school because you wanted the content of the program we gave you across the various spectrum of knowledge that you require in order to be an ethical, competent, and capable leader. Therefore, it is now a matter of what you choose to do. But I hope that your choice would be, as my father always said, your choice would be one that is a determination to never negotiate your values, regardless of what is on the table. You can negotiate your views, as we have taught you. When you negotiate your views, it can only be on the basis that you stand with your trust in God, but asking the person who is telling you that your views are incorrect to please show me your data. Negotiate your views. When there is superior argument, when there's more information than what you had, the hallmark of an intelligent mind is to be persuaded by evidence superior to what they have. But no mind that will change and transform our society can be the one that is contextual in values. You cannot have value in the morning and not have it in the afternoon. You cannot have values in the afternoon and not have it in the evening time. What we have basically taught you in the school is that at all times, standing on character. Every other thing may fade away, but character never fades away. And I leave you with the word of my father again. He would say, character is the greatest currency of life. If there's anything we've done for you, it is to give you the opportunity to evaluate yourself on a constant basis. For as long as you can stay consistent with that, we have no doubt that what we already have begun to see, that what we designed has a proof of concept. 55 of those that graduated ahead of you contested for various party tickets in the 2023 election. 55. 9 won their party tickets and became candidates in the election. None of our candidates won in the elections. But guess what? There is a proof of concept that surely this journey that we're on, though it be long, we will get to that place where only people with the requisite competence, with the requisite capabilities, but above all, on the foundation of character, will govern our public spaces in this country and on our continent. I charge you, therefore, to go forth as the unconventionals that you are. You don't have to fit in. You simply have to be unconventional in the way that everything you do is about serving the common good, not your private or personal or narrow interests. Because after all, you are graduates of the SPPG. SPPG, unconventional. SPPG, unconventional. Congratulations.